Oh yeah. Welcome to a new episode of I'm Just Saying with your host, Weedy Green, Cohost Charity S. Thank you, y'all. Thank you for tuning in to my first podcast. And like I said, my name is Weedy Green. And I'd like to address a few things before I start the show. My first show was supposed to have been wild today, but we're going to leave that for next Thursday. There was something else I'd like to address first, and that's our children and common sense regarding our young men and women in everyday life. And I'd like to start, with our young ladies getting pregnant at an early age. I mean, not finishing school, no regards for their own life and how it will affect others, like their parents and other family members. Parents are having, to stop their life to help their own child raise a child. And I don't think that's right. And of course, we love our kids and we'll do almost anything for them. I mean, I don't want to sound cold, but I think after a mother has raised you to the best of their own ability, I think they have the right to live a life that they have built and worked hard for that once included you. Parents have the right to live in their own home with that one extra bedroom empty. And so I'm just saying, can we have some peace after 18 years of raising y'all? I mean, really? But then pay us back by getting pregnant too early when your life hasn't even started yet. You have no place to live in many cases before moving from home, of course. No money saved, no vehicle, no job, any savings, clothes and shoes that we bought, and have nerves to come tell us you pregnant, turning us into older grandparents. Well, as a matter of fact, let's talk to our co-host Charity and see how she feels about. Well, let's see if she feels the same way that I do about kids or young ladies having babies kind of early, and at home, and like I had said before. They come home and talking about they pregnant. So what are we supposed to do about that? I mean, really, that's really not our problem. I mean, that's probably kind of harsh to say, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, these kids are growing up so fast nowadays, and it's like different from when we were being raised. Everything is like totally different,
Right.
And so my thing is sometimes, for the girls, they really think that the father of this child is really going to be there and do what he's supposed to do when it's not the case at all, Right. So, then you also have to look at their upbringing, like what kind of home, like what is their home like?
Right.
Are they with a single parent? Are both their parents there? Because don't get me wrong, because a child could still get pregnant at an early age with both the parents at home. So I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I don't know. I think maybe we just make it look too easy for them, and they're not really worried about it until the child actually gets here, when they actually have to be an adult. Right. I have my fingers up in quotations. They actually have to be an adult.
Right.
So, exactly. No, it's not easy at all. We just make it seem that way, but it's not easy at all. But then, when this child gets here, it's like a whole different story. Then you go through things that adults go through, child support, how you going? Because if you're in high school when you get pregnant, you're not even old enough to work. Yes. So how are you going to support this child? So at this point, as parents, we give our purses / wallets to the kids. Here you go. just go and take it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, and they really just don't look at it like that. You really don't. And and it's not just the girls, it's the boys too.
Right.
Because the boys, they think they can just get these girls pregnant and just go about their way. You know, sometimes it does work out. You know, sometimes you have really supportive parents on both ends.
But why has it got to be the parents?
Because the kid's too young to work. They are too young to work. They're too young to do anything. What they're going to do? The parents are going to have to be involved some kind of way. You're not going to have a babysitter. You're not going to have money for a babysitter. You know, and you still got to go back and forth to school. Meanwhile, the bills are still due. Because those are going to come on time every time. It don't care what you got going on. Them bills going to be on time.
So basically, the child itself is actually going to come into a world where it's going to eventually, well, not all kids, but some of the babies do come into that part where they going to be caught up in the welfare system because they need help from the system.
True.
Sometimes because of the parents is like, I just can't do it all.
Yeah, but you know, some of them, they learn. Some of them have to learn the hard way. How did our parents used to say? A hard head makes a soft ass.
Right.
So you have to learn. Some of these things, you can't just tell your kid, hey, do this, 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 and this. They're not going to listen. They're going to have to go through it.
Hard head.
Some stuff you just got to let them go through to be like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, now you can learn.
Yeah, you're about to learn. So enjoy all of this. Because this is really about to happen.
Well, you do have some that actually do get on their feet and get their apartments. I mean, you think that's the end of it right there? You know, when they move out finally and get their own stuff, and they, you know, thinking it's all good because they got their own, or...
Well, I mean, it just depends on how, first of all, it depends on how young they are. Because, you know, some girls you have out here, they're getting pregnant at like 14 years of age. And at 14 years of age, they still have a lot of time to go. Because they're not even able to, you can't really even do anything until you're 18. 14. You really can't even really work. You can get a permit until you're like 16, but that's still school age. You still have to go to school. And, you know, you still have to, and, you know, depending on how strong your home life is, some parents will step in and be like, okay, you just do this and we got this. But all parents are not able to do that.
Right. Well,
you know,
I mean, and especially just to say if it is that age at 14 anyway, that's devastating on the parents already. You know, first thing you think is, how old is this, you know, dude? Yeah,
I understand what you're saying, but then also you have to think about it. When we were that age, we were the same way.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell us nothing. We couldn't wait until we got out of the house. Mm-hmm. We couldn't wait until we got our own stuff. And now look at us. We're like, woo, we should have stayed at home.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, it's harder than what get at home the whole time. You have a human being that you're responsible for now. And, you know, like I said, in your upbringing and your home life, you know, some people don't have it that well.
Right.
They end up dropping out. They can't do anything. You can't, you know, you can't be a good role model.
Right.
So it's like, if you don't have a good role model to go by, you're going to usually mimic what you see them doing.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I didn't put that in, you know, into my thoughts too. You know, it's so many things, you know, that, or not things, but it's so many parts of this. Scenarios.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's always, but in my opinion, I think it's always the females that suffer the most because the mom is always the custodial parent. And you know, the dad, not all of them step away. Some of them try, some of them do, but most of them don't.
Right.
So if they're even claiming the baby.
Yeah, that's another show.
Right. If they're even saying, yes, this is my child, you know.
Right.
If the mom even know who's the child's father is. So it's a lot of stuff, you know, and sometimes you have to say that you don't know who the child's father is in order to get food stamps or welfare or Medicaid.
That's facts. That's facts right there.
You see?
Yeah.
And so most of these fathers are not signing the birth certificate. They're nowhere around when this child is born.
But then after 5 years, they racked up child support when they finally do claim Because they had to turn in the father's name in order to get help from the state or whatever. And now he's backed up, and that makes it bad for him. Police looking for him. I mean, know what I'm saying? That's a shame.
Yeah, so it's going to take, her a little longer to get the support that she needs to support this child.
Right.
The waiting list is how long? 3-4 years for childcare?
That's a shame.
It's blowing up. It's blowing up. These babies are having babies.
Well, we got to pay for these kids, twice. Because especially if they get on the system, we already paying into the system already.
Right.
And then we taking care of them at home. That's double. That's freaking double. And I just can't see it. This is why I brought this topic up today, because they don't know how much money they cost us. This is money that we could have been saving away for them, at the end of the day.
Right. But then again, like I said at first, they're not thinking about that. We can't expect children to think like adults.
Yeah.
Because when we were that age, we weren't trying to listen to what we were. That couldn't happen to us. That only happened to other people until it actually happens.
Right.
And then you can't believe it. So now you have to go home and tell your parent or parents that you are with child. And that's going to be a problem. And depending how your parents are, some of them get put out.
Yep.
Some of them have supporting parents. But then you also have the parents, they don't have anything either. They're barely at home. They're barely keeping the bills paid and stuff like that. So it's really nothing they can do either. And then it's like, once that happened, the child has no choice but to drop out of school.
Yeah.
In order to care for this child.
At that age, yeah. And that happens a lot too.
So the best thing to do, is try to, tell your kids about birth control and what they can do and whatnot. And it's not like they're gonna listen.
Some may have objectives about that, about speaking shit to their kids about that type of stuff.
I mean the parent to their own child.
Yeah, I mean
they need to.
I don't think I would have spoken to my kids yet about. Well, I guess it depends on the age. So yeah.
And in this day and age, you need to.
You ain't lying. Yeah, you're right. This is 2022.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, if you don't hear, if you don't want to hear it, what you gonna do?
Right, exactly.
You gonna catch this fade? That's what you gonna do.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So I mean, that's something you should want to listen to. Because, as soon as it happens, and be like, I don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it.
I told you. I have no problem saying I told you. I told you.
I'm good at
it's
that.
called tough love. Sometimes you have to administer it. It's called tough love.
And that's, and that's sad. I mean, we have to do that sometimes.
You do. And they don't understand it until they're older. And then they're like, oh, now I see why, this happened and why this happened,
That's crazy. That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
With these kids today, and I'd like to, on our next segment, we'll have to continue this on another time and another date, because I would like to get some children on here, or some kids on here, or the ones that even made it out, then struggled and went through what we just talked about, and they finally got on their feet and made it, and I'd like to hear their story, from the bottom on to the top.
In my opinion, and this is only my opinion, you can tell when a person has a baby and they're totally responsible for that baby on their own, because they have no more than 1 or 2. That's it.
Yeah.
But then, you have some with 6 and 7, like, who even does that? For what reason? Like why?
7 baby. Well, because a lot of the time, I hate to say it though, but a lot of times, they love them stamps. Them food stamps, man. $1,300 a month.
That can only buy food though. I mean, unless you sell them.
They still have them.
But
if you find some, just tell me what it is, so I can go get me some.
Right. But I mean, you don't want to, have to be, getting food stamps and stuff. I just feel like, there are people out there that really, really need food stamps.
Yeah.
And then, you have the other people that are like, oh, well, just get them.
If you can get them, get them.
Right.
No, because we got to pay for that stuff.
Right.
You know, and what I mean by that, it comes out of our taxes.
Yeah.
You don't see it, but like I had explained to a few people, once you get paid and you get home, you got your check in your hand or cash in your hand from cashing your check. The state, federal, and city come knocking at your door and they got their hands on you. Then you got to pay your money, your taxes, to them in each one, and you can't ask them what they're going to do with it, and they each walk away with their part. I guarantee you, you start asking yourself, wait a minute, I'm tired of this. You know, why am I having to pay, you know, taxes to what? Where's it going to? You know, you start asking those questions then. But since it's been happening, you know, from day one, you know, we've been conditioned really not even to complain hardly, except, man, they're taking too much taxes out of my check. Well,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of these programs out here too.
And it's like the single people.
Oh.
Like either you don't have children or either your children are grown and you're empty nesters. Oh, yes. I think they wait for us. They wait. Right, they're gonna get paid. They're gonna get paid. I mean, it's just like they just. Woo.
It's sad for the kids, you know. I mean, I hope and pray for these kids today that they, you know, or the parents, you know, get in their butts.
Right, right.
And show them and teach them not to be doing this crazy stuff, man. You know, the children that are born, they are blessings, you know, when they're here, you know, of course, and they make it.
Oh, yeah.
But my goodness, can you stop it for a little?
Right, because with me, the first time is a mistake. The second time, that was a decision. Because you knew what it took to get you in this predicament again.
Right.
Stop letting these boys whisper all these little sweet nothings in your ear, and then after the baby is done, that's what you get, sweet nothings.
Stop letting them boys get up in you, and that's just real talk. You know, just because they look fresh as hell or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what the youngest call it today, but you know, swag and all of that. Man, that stuff don't matter about time reality hits you. Yeah. Like, I got with him just because of the way he looked or his money he had or whatever it might have been. And now you stuck out here like
Chuck.
What am I gonna do next year? You stuck out here like Chuck, as Charity says.
Yeah.
You know, so
like Chuck.
So I mean, hey, it's what it is, man. You know, and like I said, I hope and pray that they, you know, that the parents can help these kids get their education that they need and you know, can help them.
Yeah, I just think the home life has a lot to do with it as well. But you know, that's not necessarily true because you know, you have some preachers' kids that gets out here and they get wild. Yeah. You know, but I think that's from being confined so long that when they do get out, they don't know how to act.
They don't know how to act.
They don't know how to act.
Oh, they know how to act because you see what happens to some of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know.
So there, you know, you have to validate your kids at home. So when they get out there, that stuff don't work on them. It doesn't work. Oh, you're beautiful, you're pretty. I already know. Yeah.
So is it hopeless then? Is it hopeless for these kids out here and parents? I mean,
it's not hopeless. It's not hopeless. It's just the stuff going on nowadays. It's just
Generation
with social media and all. Yeah, it's just like, because you know, we didn't have all of that when we were younger.
Well, we had BET though, you know, with the videos and stuff like that, but
we didn't have BET all the time. We had night tracks. You remember that in the box? Don't forget. Look, we had to call on the phone to order a video to play on the TV so we can watch it, and we had to wait for the video to come up.
Yeah, I do, but you're a little older than me, so.
Boy, you older than me. No. You remember night tracks? It's like I listen to some songs and be like, how do I even know this song?
A little bit before my time, you know, but you know, hey, I mean, I'm
singing Madonna and everything. I'm like, Lord.
So folks that we in this.
Yeah, you know what it is. We trying to act like you young.
I'm just saying.
Right on up there with Methuselah.
Hey, I am happy that we got this out the way today, y'all. And we had a good discussion on this topic today. It's our first podcast.
Yeah.
And
Parents, help your
yes.
kids out. Give your kids the knowledge that they need to make better decisions.
Yes.
I mean, it's 50-50, but hey, you tried. You know, because there's only so much you can do. You know, sometimes you have to let these kids find out on their own. Because you telling them is not going to work. They have to actually see on their own. Because, you know, they think they're invincible and things can't happen to them. So just try to educate your kids as much as possible. Boys and girls.
There you go.
So,
both of them.
Yeah.
There, you got some good stuff right there, y'all.
Yes, that was some really great information. So thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you tune in next week where the discussion is, should teachers be able to have guns in school? Thank you all for listening. Choose to make it a great day.
I'm just saying. Thank you for listening to another episode of I'm Just Saying.